Hey everyone, and welcome to the StarCraft 2 Zombiebounty community YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial with you on Zombiebounty mods. If you don't know this already, Zombiebounty and Zombie mods are a very prolific and popular um, add-on to regular StarCraft games, and they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. If you've ever done a simple search for mods on Zombiebounty, you'll see everything from some of the most common mods used like Zombiebounty Moar Upgrade, Zombiebounty, and Zombiebounty Extreme, all the way to mods like Zombiebounty Toolbox and Zombiebounty Essence Stealing. And then, of course, even with that, there's forms of zombies that don't have a bounty attached to them, which are just things like zombie catastrophe or zombie team survival. And so you could go on and on and on with explaining all the different zombie mods that are out there. But the important thing to know about the zombie mod and the zombie mod community is one simple fact, and that is that it is the addition of hostile units to a normal StarCraft game that adds this third element to the game that you have to contend with while also trying to defeat your opponent. It's not generally considered the point of the game, but just a part of the game that is added and can make it a bit more interesting. So with that, we are today going to just be focusing on two of the most popular zombie mods, and these are mods that are played thousands of times every month. And our tutorial today is just going to be very basic and straightforward. And it's also important to keep in mind as we do this tutorial that maps play a big role with zombies as well. I'm CoffeeMug online, and I make a lot of really popular zombie maps, but there's all kinds of other zombie maps that are made. I'm sure you've heard of Micro Jail, which is by the original creator of Zombeibounty and Zombiebounty Moar, which is Smile. And of course, there's all kinds of ladder maps that get used for zombies as well, like Megaton. So with that, there's also that other layer to zombies that can be a learning curve for people who are kind of getting into the community. But to keep things simple in order to give you an oversight of how most zombie mods will work, we're just going to start with Zombiebounty and Zombiebounty Moar on a popular zombie map, which is one I made years ago called Zombie Cross. So for starters, Zombie Bounty is a mod, which means it gets added to maps. But if you're playing on a CoffeeMug map, which you can know by the prefix CM, and I organize my maps with this prefix, so you can type in CM3 to see all 3 vs 3 maps, CM2 to see all the 2 vs 2 maps, and then CM4 to see all the 4 vs 4 maps. Zombiebounty is already embedded into the map. And you can see the embed button when you scroll down to the bottom of the right side of the menu and click enabled. And when you do that, you'll see all the options you're used to seeing with Zombiebounty regular mod, but embedded in the map. Now, why is this important? Well, if you're somebody that likes to play additional mods on top of Zombiebounty, this option lets you do that. And so instead of having to use up the mod space for Zombiebounty, you just turn it on in the lobby, and then you can add any mod you want to the map, any kind of mod that you like that you think would make zombies extra fun. If you're using extra mods with zombies, I recommend enabling the extra mod mode. This just allows extra mods to be a bit more friendly with zombies, so there aren't any technical overlap issues that could affect the mod you're trying to play with zombies. But for most of our community, they'll be playing just with the Zombiebounty mod, and so let's jump in to kind of how that works. And so for starters, you'll see here a button called Unit Restrictions. And this is the menu that allows you to select a certain kind of restriction that you want to add to AI or human players in the game that will adjust the kind of units that can be built and the kind of units that can't be built. And so this is a fun menu to kind of spice up your zombie game as it adds or takes away certain kind of units. Next is the health and damage of zombies. For every X you see, that represents 100 health. And so zombies starts at a 200 HP zombie, but can be upgraded all the way to 1,000, which would give you a 100,000 health zombie. And so this can be a fun way to kind of spice up your zombie games. If, for instance, you're on a map with really long pathways and maybe you want to kind of create like a tower defense feel for the map, this is a setting that you can play with depending on the map and depending on the size of the game to make things a bit more interesting. You then have the bounty, and this is why zombies is called Zombeibounty, because the zombies, when you kill them, give you a bounty. And here you can see different kind of bounties you choose, all the way from static bounties to no bounty to perhaps bounties that are intertwined with the difficulty. So for instance, it's 30 minerals and 15 gas times the difficulty. So if the difficulty was maybe times 5, you multiply those numbers by 5 and you get a game where you're getting significant income from the zombies, which again can be fun depending on the kind of map you're playing. Maybe it's a map with limited resources or really small spaces, so you want players to get handsomely rewarded for killing those extra hard zombies. The last thing is to be aware of the zombie type. There are approximately 10 different zombie types that you can choose from, and these range from simply just increasing the number of zombies that spawn all the way to having dead units return and adding advanced zombies, or choosing 3 random units to be zombies. So instead of the classic infested marine skin, which is used in most popular zombie mods, you could maybe have the zombies be an Ultralisk, a Broodlord, and a Mothership. And so again, zombie type allows you to adjust the kind of zombie you're dealing with. AI behavior is simply a menu option that's added because comp stomps with zombies is very popular. And so with this menu, you can have AI allied to zombies or AI not allied to zombies. So you could, for instance, do a 4 vs 4 on Zombie Cross, and the zombies don't attack the AI, they only attack the players, which can kind of make it more challenging and more dynamic and more fun. Now, you probably noticed while I was doing this walkthrough of the menu items, a couple of extra buttons that don't seem to do anything to do with zombies. Well, that's because on CoffeeMug Maps specifically, there are a couple of extra settings and functions that are unique just to any CoffeeMug map you play. And the first one is the Leaderboard Ranking system. And this allows you to decide if you want your game to be ranked, unranked, or something in between. All CoffeeMug maps have a leaderboard that tracks your wins and losses and rewards you MMR for wins and losses across any 2 vs 2, 3 vs 3, 4 vs 4, 5 vs 5, 6 vs 6, or 7 vs 7 um, uh, coffee mug map. And you can see that leaderboard in the top right corner when you start the game, and you can see how many games you've played and your win-loss ratio, and it's a really fun aspect of coffee mug maps when you're playing zombies. But this menu allows you to choose how you want the teams to be organized. So, for instance, if you chose rating ranked, that means that the game will be ranked. You can earn MMR, but it's also going to organize the teams based on people's rating so that teams are more fair and equitable. You, of course, could do the same thing but unranked, and then there's other options here as well. All coffee mug maps come with a anti-TK system. It's a very intuitive system that generally will never kick you on accident, but only if you're sincerely trying to team kill your ally. And then a new system that we launched that currently only works for certain maps and can be really fun addition to any map you're playing is spawn mode, which allows you to select where on the map you spawn, which doesn't make a lot of sense if the map is symmetrical, but you can also do random spawns, which can be fun because, for instance, on Zombie Cross, you can have a situation where maybe 3 players are spawning together here, and one is over here off at the distance, and that can be a fun kind of new dynamic to add to your zombie games. So that's a brief outline of how the Zombeibounty mod works and some of the unique settings you'll see just for coffee mug maps. There is one extra unique setting for the embed, which is what we call Zombiebounty that's already inside coffee mug maps. And that is that you can apply the unit restrictions to just human players or AI players. So for instance, if you were to maybe turn on unit restrictions that only had you being able to build air, you would then be able to apply that to just human players if you wanted to, which could create kind of a fun dynamic if you're playing with AI. So that is the Zombiebounty mod in a nutshell. And again, this is just for the Zombiebounty mod, but these settings tend to be pretty similar regardless of any Zombiebounty mod, or excuse me, any zombie or Zombiebounty mod you'll be playing. And what I mean by that is there's usually side menus here that allow you to adjust the zombie behavior, the zombie functions, and whatnot. And then from there, you get to have these unique games. All right, well, let's jump over to Zombiebounty Moar. All right, so Zombiebounty Moar is the second most popular zombie mod out there. And it came out about 2 years ago as a reworking of all the mechanics within regular StarCraft in order to make really interesting and dynamic way to kind of play zombies. And so after you scroll past some of those settings I mentioned are only on coffee mug maps, you start to see some interesting menu buttons here that allow you to really change the aspects of the game to make things more interesting. For starters, there's ability to adjust how quickly mana refreshes on your units, which means you can play a game where ravens are dropping 100 turrets a minute, or ghosts have unlimited sniping. There's of course that unit restriction button you saw in Zombiebounty, and the ability to adjust difficulty, which actually starts on ×3 with more. And down here you see again a similar bounty option. But here's where you start getting some more ways you can kind of adjust your Zombie Bounty games. For instance, the default for Moar is that you mine faster, you build faster, you train faster, and your research upgrades faster. So that means within the first 30 seconds of the game, you can have Zerglings with a speed upgrade, and you're jumping right into battle. But it's also important to keep in mind that in Moar, you have unlimited upgrades, essentially. Now you can choose how those scale and how much they cost, but if you wanted to, you could have Colossi with 30 or 40 range, or you could have Stalkers that can blink once every second. Again, it's a complete reworking of all the mechanics in StarCraft. And just like in Zombie you have some modes here. For those who are unfamiliar with Terrazine, the way Terrazine works in Moar is you choose how you earn the Terrazine, and then you choose what that Terrazine does. So, for instance, if I chose Terrazine to ups, then that means that every time I kill a zombie, I get one Terrazine, and that one Terrazine gives me one upgrade for all my units and all my structures. And so imagine if you killed 10 zombies, you now have 10 upgrades on all your buildings and structures. It can get kind of crazy, but it's something that people enjoy and can be really fun. And just like in Zombie Bounty, there are the types of zombie bounties, zombies you can choose here. You can choose chunky or heroic, which reduces the number of zombies that spawn, but makes them harder. And heroic does that as well, but on a very drastic level. And lastly, there's that AI behavior again. So I hope this overview of Zombie Bounty and Zombie Bounty Moar was helpful. Again, there's lots of different map makers and lots of different creators of Zombie Bounty mods and maps. For instance, Wyman is someone who makes battle royale maps that players just love to play zombies on. But hopefully this overview was helpful as you create your own Zombie Bounty lobbies and games and zombie games. And I look forward to seeing you online and playing some zombie games.